Hello, hello, hello. This is Happy Valley Hobbies, and this is Hobbies That Make Me Happy. Sorry for the slight delay. Just trying to get things working properly, and I was hitting buttons, and buttons weren't happening. But looks like I'm back up and running. Uh, it's well, weather's been interesting. Doesn't feel right that going to work in shorts was, a thing to do in March, but that's what wound up happening. Uh, Gotten back to being cold. It was like a miniature, you know, preview of I guess what's going to be happening later in the month and next month. Oh, there, Andy. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, it looks like Wigwag, Valleys, and John Blanacki were here first. Uh, so yeah, Wigwag was here the first, so I guess he gets a cookie. I'm not sure who's going to give him that cookie, but um, that is the way that is. Other than that, nothing really exciting has happened. Uh, so I guess I'll uh, mention one of the things that just just now at shopping at Aldi's, wound up picking up one of these things, or three of these things actually. It's a 3-pack. Not quite sure what to do with it yet, but hey, it's storage for it's storage, so it's going to be useful for something. Not only are they stackable, but they're also interlock with each other. So let's say we crack this open, so you can see what one of these look like. My assumption that all three are the same exact thing. She says, produced for Aldi, so this is a specific Aldi thing. Being brand new, they're yeah, these things are new, so they're not coming apart. But they are, things that I've, pretty much this is what the inside looks like. You can turn around and remove sections. Pretty much, I'll figure out exactly what this would be. I would be using this for. But it's what? It's only 10 bucks for the three of them, so why not? But the thing is that if I can't take these apart, all right, that's that. That's not what I'm looking for. Looks like I might have to use something a little bit more stronger to get these things apart, because right now, yeah, it's like it was thing for Aldi's. Every now and then, Aldi has something that's useful and all that, but unfortunately, it's usually a get it now or you're not going to get it. Another disadvantage is that since this is specifically from Aldi's, it'll be probably very hard to actually, if I want more and they run out, this is going to be hard to get duplicates of. It's not like Harbor Freight where it's like they have the same thing and you can keep on going, getting back for more. So, but that's the interesting purchase that I've done today. Um, Yesterday, went to the local NRA meeting. It's on a Saturday, so I can actually turn around and actually go to the thing. Gentlemen, it was the guy's first layout open house. They believe that it went pretty well. The guy does the Boston Albany. He did he does have a connection with the Delaware and Hudson, so he did have some Delaware and Hudson equipment. And I got something that's a Delaware and Hudson engine, which is I want to say Bradford Locomotive Works design. But the thing is, I don't do that era much anymore, so it's one of those things of there's something that somebody can have, but who knows. Then since I was about 3/4 of the way there, I decided to go to Milepost Hobbies and give them an update of what's going on and all that. And then I get there and the store is closed for vacation. So it's like, yeah, at least I didn't travel an hour and a half to get there. So that was a good portion on that part, I guess. Didn't really. It's one of those things of not really. No, don't really need to buy more stuff. So I do. Right now, I'm sort of kind of contemplating, just finish the projects I have before I start buying. I wound up buying a while ago. I wound up buying. Well, I have 3 of them now. I'm only using 2, but it was Aldi's. Like it's small. It was like maybe about this wide, and it had all these different storage boxes in it. And the last time they had it, it's like I bought one and all that. It's like I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but still haven't figured out what I'm going to be using it for. But that might require a going through and figuring out storage things and clean things up and go from there. But all right, so let me switch over cameras and go over to overhead. Now the plan for tonight is finish up the inside of the covered truss bridge. And then start on the outside. So some more, well, not as much this time. The one disadvantage of having it this way is that you winds up drying a lot faster. So let's start with these. Oh, wait a second. I got my phone. All right, why is it not? There it goes. Why, thank you, Valleys. I haven't. Well, this is sort of almost like a kit bash because the model kit itself is a Hunter line covered bridge. When I asked Rick Hunter from Hunter Line what was needed to make the normal queen post bridge into a covered truss bridge, he basically said just buy the actual covered bridge kit and then start using that along those lines. I did had to at least buy one. I believe this is it's either a 10 by yeah, it's either a 10 by 3 or a 12 by 3. I forgot exactly which this was, but I had to buy another one because there wasn't enough stock for two of these. Only stock for one because the covered bridge only does not have the outriggers. But now we're to a point of I'm going to figure out what to do to here. And right now, I'm going to cut this a little oversized. So let's go this direction, see if we can go this way. Let's flush cut. And we will get some more glue. Pop that open. There we go. Now, not sure how well this is going to work. We'll try it anyway. Let that soak in. Keep on forgetting to look for tweezers. Tweezers would work real nicely right about now. Is getting barn red hunter green all over my fingers. It's gonna look like I cut myself or something. Just the tip. I guess just keep on. Yeah, that's another thing. Is it's like having a thousand things and then not being able to find them. Like it's approximately the same length. I just had a thought. So I use some of the rail cutoffs to use as chopsticks. And these are they're too wobbly to use as chopsticks. So that's not going to work. This probably won't work either because they're too small. Yeah, it's not going to work. I'm not sure how well this is going to work because this is technically still wet because of the dye. But technically the dye is not water-based. So I'm making the assumption that the glue in the water and the alcohol in the dye will potentially play nice with each other. Don't know. Well, it's one of those things we'll find out. No. Go for another one. This will go a little lower. The interesting thing is that once it gets dyed, it sort of kind of disappears. Let that dry out just a little bit. Now, I did post this on Discord, and I did say this was going to be a fully covered truss bridge, only covering the trusses. And then they said, well, you could do that for the inside, but then make the outside removable. And that would have been a neat concept, but I think it would have to be designed that way, which I did not design it that way from the beginning. But it was definitely a interesting way of looking at it. Let's see, these are shorter. This is very much shorter and also thinner. Let's clip the thin part off. And this one also has a thin portion we can probably clip off. All right, put that on the opposite side. That looks like maybe good for, you know, sort of like the last one that's not attached to anything. You shouldn't put glue on at that specific point in time. Right now I'm just eyeballing how long these should be. Probably after I'm all done, I might actually turn around and measure them. As these boards are getting smaller and smaller, a little bit more of a challenge to handle them. But right now, I'm cutting a little over length so they can be, you know, trimmed. The thing is, when you're eyeballing it, it's not going down appropriately. So let's see, that one, go with that direction. Spilled that. That would have been a slight disaster. Oh, hello there, Mr. Dodge. Thank you for coming in. I can only assume that your dinner with the family went well. Trying to remember to keep it in frame. Probably a smart idea to reorganize my underneath my workbench. The problem is underneath the workbench, not on top. And it's the reason why I can't really get as close as I would want to. If I was able to get closer and all that, you know, I'd be sort of like here, not over here. Right now, what I'm doing is just theoretically going to finish the inside walls, and then once everything is dry, then trim them to size. At least what the plan is. Hopefully that plan works out. I'm actually thinking that maybe I should be brushing the stain on instead of dipping it in. Just when dipping it in is like it's convenient when you got lots of them. But if you're doing one at a time, it's not as, doesn't seem to be as practical. Dry it off there. All right, now the rest is going to be a little bit harder. Mainly due that there's only one spot that's holding them up. Down to here. Let's try it this way. I guess that works that way. Didn't know if the didn't know where the jaws were going to be was going to get covered up. Apparently, yes, it does. And this time, I'm going to see about adding glue to the side. Side and bottom. All right, looks like it might work that direction. Oh, hello there, Seenie Eye, John. Thank you for coming in. Dry this off, glue it into place, and go on to the next one. Now I'm in the process of building what's called a covered truss bridge. It's where only the trusses are covered, not the whole bridge. It's sort of like a cheap alternative to a full to a full covered bridge. I think it was cheaper to make. Also, didn't have to worry about height clearances because there's no roof on these. Oh, hello there, Randall. Thank you for coming in. No, in this section there's no backing for the pieces, so I'm gluing them to the board next to it, and well, not quite going to plan, I guess. But that's why I'm gonna let it dry completely before trimming them. They do seem to be pretty solid on the bottom. All right, on to the next one. You start getting to the end pieces, these are going to get very, very small, smaller and smaller and smaller. So if anyone wants to try to do a bridge like this, as I said, Rick from Hunterline basically suggested, get a covered bridge and then use the parts from that. But I don't believe there's a prototype. I know there's the Wissahickon, Waterville, and Farmington. They just put in a covered truss bridge, but they used a different kind of truss. This is a picture of their new bridge. Apparently, it was a bridge that they wound up. It was a bridge that was saved, but needed a home, and they needed a new bridge across here. So what they did was. Yeah, here's the original trusses. They wound up reassembling them, turned around and added the sheathing on all the sides except for the outriggers. They left the outriggers exposed. And I think they did that so they can transport it, because it would make it really, it's wide enough already for the roads and all that. So having the outriggers on it would make it even wider. And let's see, where's the finish? Well, here's one of the finished pictures and all that. And if you notice that the top is actually angled. If I actually get it in camera frame. Yeah, this is different stylage truss, which I'm not quite sure what it's called, but it's not a queen post. Yeah, it's a historical bridge that they wound up finding. I guess there were some people that were sort of sad that they were hiding the internal construction, but at the same time, it also is saving said internals and all that. So okay, now we need now the piece will get really small. And it's getting small enough that it won't come off the pliers. It's the water tension's so great, it's not coming up. It's not the water tension's it's so light, it's actually not even coming off of this. Which might become a challenge. Don't know yet. But add some more there. Add it across the top here. Snug it there, and then put it on there. All right, now we really sweet. Now cut to the same size. So we have a better, just to have a better handle on it. Because with this trim, there's not going to be that much there at all. Turn around, hold these. Dump them both in. And let them dry. All right. I'll go over here. Get this in. All the way at the end. Got some on the side here. Just to move it around a bit. Need some more. Move to the side. That is going to be it for that end. All right, and now to do the other end. You know, sort of second verse is the same as the first. Let's see, how much time do I have here? Oh, plenty of time. It's only 7:30. So, all right, now, how far does this go down? See, only maybe a couple, so put that aside, grab another one of these. And we'll start going down. Start going down the sides. On this side. And getting all this ink on me, it's looking like I murdered somebody. At first I was thinking, you know, so do I want to do everything first, put it all together, then stain it? And my thought process was that the glue might wind up making it so it doesn't, it gets absorbed into the wood and then it wouldn't take the stain. So that's why I went this particular direction. And this side is this way. I'm starting to wonder if I need to add some A little extra water to the glue as it's starting to get really sticky. It's no longer as fluid as it was, so I'm assuming it's starting to dry out a little bit. It's at a stage where adding water, since I believe it's water based, will act as a thinner. And I do have a CPAP machine, so I do have access to distilled water, which is probably the best, mainly because the water in Arlington, Vermont is a little on the hard side. I'll do both these together. I think how the glue is mostly balling up instead of just flowing nicely. All right, now to the next one. I think I might have to get another 3x5 card. Yeah, so I'm not really getting things in the frame. I need to really uh, go underneath and move stuff a little bit farther that way so I can get in here easier. Is right now I think there's a box directly under where the phone is, so that's why I'm sort of back here instead of close to where the phone is. Let's start using this one. Try things up quicker. Getting close to the end of the mid row. Hello there, Dave. I think it's Dave. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Eventually, I'm planning on getting your name correct. Sprayed 12 wagons with enamel in my booth this afternoon. I still smell the enamel. That's one of the reasons why I'm on the money. All right. Now if I can only get confident in myself that I get your name right all the time. Nice. Think you're retired. Okay. Well, sounds like you did a lot of work without the entertaining grandson. Cayenne. Yeah, I just found out recently that a friend of mine is now a grandfather. So there's congratulations all around, and somebody I knew before he was even married. So not quite. He's got 4 kids. I'm assuming it's not the youngest ones. I'm not sure which of the older ones made him a grandfather. I would assume either. I would lean towards the oldest daughter, but it could be also the oldest son because they are very close in age. Oh. Just like last time I had to rearrange my backdrop, now I'm gonna have to rearrange other stuff to make it easier on myself and for people to see what the hell I'm doing. flip over. Now, in order to do this properly, not only do I have to do that, also add glue to the sides. Now, Anthony, does cayenne mean anything? And so I'm sort of kind of curious why cayenne was picked as a name. I was named after my grandfather and uncle, and my sister was named after a couple of our great aunts. I do not believe that cayenne is a relatively new style of name. So I'm assuming he's not named after anyone. I'm assuming when you say now, it's you have no entertaining grandson now, but you're probably going to be still tired anyway. Well, thank you, Randall, for stopping in, and see you around on the chats, or on a stream that they invite you on. Ooh, Celtic. Hindu god of terror. Now, did they find that the Hindu portion after he was named, or did they know ahead of time that that's what it was going to be? I think this it does sort of sound like Celtic. Yeah, it's my assumption that we all went through that phase. Yeah, I remember years ago finding out what Edward meant, which it's a sort of a compound word. Ed and Ward. Ward being pretty much naming of guard. sort of like ward of the state or being guarded. And Ed apparently is short for head or head of household. So the translation is noble guard. Kaylee and Evangeline, named after rock songs. Yeah, I've heard people being named after a lot of odd things. I know this one couple decided to name their daughter after a I think it was either a video game or a Japanese anime. So I'm not quite sure how that wound up affecting her growing up. Especially, I don't know how well known that anime is. Now, I heard this one. I'm not quite sure how true this is, but I do see in it being actually happening, because sometimes if a character gets very, very popular, I mean, there is the possibility of being named, or having the same name as a famous character after the fact. I heard this story. Oh, this was before social media. That this one guy, he sits down on a plane, and the guy next to him is just like, having a very bad day, and the guy asks what's wrong. It's like, they hate being named after cartoon character. Well, a cartoon character's stolen his name, and he turned around and said, it's like, oh, really? That's sort of kind of interesting. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, my name wasn't really a lost my train of thought. But yeah, my name, it's like my name, even though my name wasn't really an odd name, but I did wind up in elementary school being called Eddie Spaghetti. Wow, it looks like I am murdering somebody. But I think when it comes to being cruel and all that, I don't want to say it's sort of kind of universal, but I don't think it's intentional. You're trying, kids are trying to find out what the rules of society are at a certain age, not realizing that, no, you shouldn't be doing that. Ooh, that's another thing I didn't think of, John. Alexa, uh, so that's that's something else. All of a sudden, it's like something gets a name or command, and then causes all sorts of shenanigans. All right. Now, let's see. Do the same thing on this end, making two the same size. Well, thing is, a couple of years ago, it's like my cousin. We always called him Josh. And when we were old enough, I was actually surprised that Josh is his middle name, not his first name. His first name is Robert, which is the same as my Uncle Bob. I can, the phrase "Bob's your uncle," I can actually say, yes, he is. So we always called him Uncle Bob. We always called our cousin Josh. Well, I want to say maybe I think it's almost possibly a decade now. He decided to go by he's decided to go by RJ, by basically his initials. So it's one of those things that they can, you can change your name. Now, if she wants to change her name from Alexa legally, that might be a little bit more of a thing. But yeah, she can, turn around and say, I want to be known as, something else. So when people call her, she doesn't calling her name doesn't accidentally have a computer do things you don't want it to do. Okay, that's where it disappeared to. This glue is starting really thick now. Okay, why is it not coming out? I would assume that was weird. Yeah, it's very interesting when people's names are first and last names are the same. I actually met a young woman with the name of Katie, spelled the same way. Now, Katie, I did years ago get a history of names, which unfortunately I've lost that piece of paperwork. But found out why no one can spell it correctly, because there's 8 correct spellings. for one. The oddest being Kaadae, which I guess is the Gaelic version. This is, wow. Talk about just having enough. Now, the thing is, when I trim this, that might actually come off. Yeah. I was at a workplace where there were 6 mics. Joke was that if there's someone with the same name as you, you got in. There were 3 Eds. There were 3 Eds, but I was an Edward, the other one was an Edwin, and then there was an Eduardo. They even had 2 Blancos, 2 Joyces. They said 6 mics. I forgot some of the other ones, but yeah, so it got confusing because, well, you had somebody with more than one name, or more than that, all having all the same name. All right, so that is done. Do I have time to do the other side, or is that going to be off camera? That's going to be off camera because it is now 8:02. So I ran way over time. Switch cameras. And pretty much sign off. Thanks everyone for staying and watch me doing my shenanigans here. Anyways, there's that. So toneless on Lloyd's, but name was Lloyd's. Nice. I know somebody that married some. Well, for one, they're both if I remember correctly, I think they're both Korean or at least South Asian. And I guess sort of like how Smith is. I thank you, John. Sort of like their version, their version of Smith is Kim. And yeah, the thing is that the guy fell in love with a gal, and they both had the same last name. So when they got married, the last name was Kim. So it's like literally did not have to change any legal paperwork because the name is the same. So, well, that is the end for this week. I'm going to do the other finish up the other side off screen. So probably start doing the outside sheathing. And if that winds up taking the same amount of time that I did with this one, it's probably going to take 2 weeks. First doing the straight part, then the sides. And my assumption is after that, we're going to put the covers on, which I haven't figured out how to do yet. So that's going to be interesting. So I think the world needs more love. So thank you, Valleys. So find your passion. Try not to add a passion that's, well, red. And adios, Andy. Find your passion, add some silliness to it, and spread it around. Bye, everyone.